Great. Do we have an opening video or are we kicking it right off?
Just kicking right off with the presentation.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so my name is, so my name is Bruce. I'm going to help kind of be the backdoor person here. I'd like to introduce Lucia Stejer, who's going to be talking today about the how to design compliance training that is engaging for the frontline workers. So if you have questions, feel free to put them into chat or into the Q&A pod, and I'll hand it off to the presenter. Go ahead.
Great, thank you so much. So my talk today is how to design compliance training that is engaging for frontline workers, and I'll describe the process we undertook at Kaplan Professional to design engaging learning for entry-level staff in financial services institutions. A little bit about Kaplan Professional. So we're primarily an education provider for financial services education in Australia. We're established, we've been here for many, many years delivering training, and that includes compliance training as well as higher education training and vocational education training. So for primarily for financial services. A little bit more, we have over 20 years experience as a leader in education. We support over 45,000 working professionals annually, and we operate in 30 countries. And we partner with other educational institutions and primarily all corporate organisations as well. So I'm going to move now into the actual program that I'm going to be talking about. So the reason why we put together the program in the first place is it is compliance training. However, we received unfavourable feedback from our clients and learners that the program was dry and boring.
So Lucia, your audio is kind of cutting in and out right now or getting very dim. I'm not sure if you have other programs running you might be able to shut down.
No, I don't have anything running. It's just the PowerPoint. I'll try and get closer.
Okay,
How does that sound?
Good at the moment.
Okay, great, thank you. So a little bit about the program. So we received unfavourable feedback from our clients and learners that the program was dry and boring. Learners felt that they weren't learning anything and it was a tick box exercise. So this program is mandatory for entry-level workers to complete as part of their role. So before they could serve customers, workers needed to have completed this program. This accreditation program is specifically designed for corporate organisations that require employees to hold accreditation in general and personal advice, in basic deposit and non-cash payment products, and general insurance. And in the e-learning environment, students take on the role of the customer liaison officer at a fictional general insurance and banking business. And students are presented with realistic tasks to develop their skills and knowledge of workplace practice and to prepare them for the exam at the end of the module. So once they have finished this program, they gain an understanding of the finance industry in Australia. They understand the features of financial products. They understand the role and responsibilities of an advisor, and they demonstrate their understanding of appropriate communication skills to build relationships with clients. So it was a really important program for frontline workers, entry-level workers that started primarily at a banking institution. However, we were receiving unfavourable feedback. So what did we do about it? I'll go into the process in a moment, but I just wanted to share with you, the program has been running now for close to 7 years. And here are some of the statistics. The data on the slide starts from 2015, but you can see that we've had over 30,000 clients have enrolled in this program since 2015, and 97% of those are corporate clients. The completion rate for the program across the 7 years is 86%. The majority of our students are in the 18 to 30 age bracket because it is for frontline workers or entry level. with the average age being 34. Of the students who disclosed their gender, 55 are female and 45 are males, as you can see there. And the majority of our students who disclosed their location are from New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland. So you can see there that we have quite a number of students that have enrolled and completed the course. So it's a very, very popular course and something that they have to complete as part of their role, hence why it's the compliance training. So if I move now to the timeline, this is the process that we went through. So we had an issue in with the paper-based program in 2013. We then engaged a vendor in 2014 to develop the first e-learning version of the training. In 2016, we did a refresh, I guess a version 2. So with each iteration, there was additional features added, there was the design was enhanced, and so it improved with every iteration of the versions. So in 2017, we had a version 3, it improved again. In 2018, we had a version 4, and then in just recently, we released version 5 of the program. If I just go through the process. So in 2013 and 2014, it was paper-based. So the program was made up of 5 modules with learning activities built in articulate storyline. This included informational screens and quiz questions. To complete the activities, students needed to refer to a series of PDF subject notes. Then following an internal review and client feedback in early 2014, urgent revamping was undertaken. So what did we do? We repackaged and synthesized the learning materials and assessments so learners are not lost in the process of managing multiple learning resources, provided more interactive activity and deeper scenario-based learning approach. We enhanced the engagement of online learning for students. We used a range of media types, including audio, visuals, and text to appeal to different learning styles and foster higher levels of engagement. We also adhered to some usability standards and accessibility principles through the full WCAG compliance, even though it wasn't a requirement at that time. So moving along in 2014 and 2016, we did another review. Updates were made to publish the articles in one package. We developed it in Lectora, which was a SCORM package. We refined, streamlined and repackaged into 15 modules. And the framework would provide a predefined learning package structure with flexibility in interactive and media to capture the learner's attention, engage them with the learning and offer an element of variation between each module to maintain interest and add an element of anticipation to the learning. Again, we looked at the scenario-driven approach through realistic and relatable characters and situation. Learners are able to see how knowledge and skills are applied in practice. And one story underpinned the whole package, focusing on the career path of an advisor as they progress from banking basics to more complex insurance and deposit product information. So there was quite a lot of updates or review in that version. Moving along to 2016, 2017, again, there was content updates based on the perishable data. There were minor bug fixes, and then the changes to the assessment structure to make it more rigorous. Again, after soliciting feedback, reference information added for each question, 2 pools of questions and 3 attempts with alternating pools. In 2017, to 2018. This is version 3. We rebuilt all of the modules in HTML5. There was a minor refresh in terms of the look and feel to adhere again to accessibility standards due to requirements for clients to comply with the accessibility. We rewrote the drag and drop activities. We recreated and adapted images that contain text. The image changes. There was a lot more interaction. We updated the perishable data, and we had to build a version for IE6 and 8 due to HTML behaving differently in both browsers. So there was I guess, a technical piece to that. And then the inclusion of a workplace observation to support modules. If we move to the next iteration, this is version 4 in 2018. Here we undertook a review of the perishable data, the screens, and the assessment. So there weren't many changes to the actual design or the functionality or the activities. So this was a minor update. And here we are in this is now the latest version in 2021. And it was, so this latest version, which we've just released a couple of months ago, was refreshed to reflect a modern, fresh online learning program using a new suite of culturally diverse characters. The products and services used within the modules have been updated to reflect the current offerings within financial institutions. The structure of the modules and the online assessments haven't changed. However, in refreshing the content across all 15 of the modules, we had to review the perishable information and align the modules with the new banking code of practice. We reviewed the currency and validity of the content. We directed focus towards customer-centric conversations. We refreshed positioning of the scenarios to make them more relevant to their learners. And we reviewed the appropriateness of the tone, the language, and the messaging. There was also refreshing of the interface design. So we developed a contemporary approach to navigation, interactions, and visual design. We also reviewed the sit time for each of the modules. We used visual design to support the content and messaging rather than being overwhelming. We provided accessible experience in compliance with accessibility, adapted to major browsers, tablets, and mobile devices. We streamlined the learner experience. There is minimal scrolling and clicking. And we updated the graphic elements, photographic media, and audio to achieve a modern and cohesive look and feel, engaging a broader demographic. So that we released this particular version just a couple of months ago, and so far it's proving to be quite engaging for our learners. Here's some of the client feedback that we've received. The user experience has been greatly improved. I like the new look and feel. Reducing the number of clicks within the modules has made it so much easier to get through. I also think the more diverse range of characters has made the content more relatable to our staff, and the clearer navigation and contemporary styling has given the accreditation a fresh look. So far, positive feedback from our clients. So that's are there any questions from any of the attendees?
No questions in chat right now or the Q&A pod, but if you have a question, feel free to type it in, chat or Q&A, or let us know and the moderator can unmute you if you want to go, if that's the way you prefer to ask. Or how many people type that? I have one question. You mentioned in, I guess, 2021, you made the content more mobile friendly. Has there been a lot of uptake on people viewing the content or consuming it on the mobile devices?
There hasn't been a lot of uptake on the mobile, simply because there are quite a number of modules, and And what we find is that even though it is mobile responsive, that the user experience is a lot better on a tablet or a PC or a laptop. So that's the user experience tends to be, because there is quite a lot of interactivity. And so that's what we find, and that's the feedback that we receive. We've made it mobile responsive because of the demographic. If we go back to that slide, you can see there that the ages between 18 to 30 are primarily our largest group of learners. So we find that they do a lot on their mobiles, and so that's almost expected. However, it's an option for them, but what we find is because it's part of their role in the workplace, they tend to complete it in the workplace. However, there is that option that they can do it on their mobile, but we're finding that they're doing it whilst working, or they're doing it as part of an induction program. So because it's critical to their role, this type of training is critical to their role, they will do it before they actually, as part of the induction, or before they actually are speaking to customers.
It's like onboarding for new hires or new to role.
It is, yeah, it is. So even though there is that option to do it on their mobile, we find that they're doing it in the workplace anyway. But that option needed to be included in that last version, so that we were catering for everybody, or as many learners as we could.
Okay, still no questions, so I'll ask that have come in through Q&A, but I'll ask another one. You mentioned there's a lot of experiential type learning or applications and things. Is it just kind of the standard things, drag and drop, click like those, or is there more? Have you added like some social aspects to it?
Really good question. So we do have a branching scenario as well. We don't have any social aspect to it, other than asking questions via a discussion forum. So the actual package or the modules sit within the LMS, and there's an opportunity and there's a discussion forum option, so students can ask questions in the discussion forum, but not social in the sense that they're what tends to happen in the discussion forum is that they're actually asking questions of the trainer or the assessor rather than their peers. And often the questions could be technical in nature, or they could be administrative types of questions. So we don't have any elements of that. I guess we had to find the balance between, because it is compliance training and it is a requirement, we had to find that balance between the accreditation and the interactivity and all of the features that we could put into the module. So we had to find that balance to make sure that we were ticking off or covering what our regulator wanted, as well as making it engaging for our learners. So maybe that's something that we could look at in the next version or the next iteration of this program, to include, a social learning aspect to it. But at this stage, the interactivity is, branching. There is a drag and drop. There is a Q&A kind of scenario. And there is, because it is compliance and accredited training, there is an assessment at the end that is a requirement, and that takes the form of a quiz with randomised questions.
Great. No other questions at the moment. I got one other, just keep it going here. If for the people here who are, listening to it for working with compliance training and things, are there some key takeaways if someone else is trying to develop, accreditation and compliance training, things that you've learned while working on this?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say the first thing is to consult with the clients that you're going to potentially deliver this program for. So what we did with each of the iterations is that we consulted heavily with our clients. So the major financial institutions here in Australia use Kaplan as their compliance training. And so we, through working with the sales team, we were able to access clients and run a focus group to, I guess, garner all of their feedback. So I would say that one of the key takeaways is seeking client feedback up front. The second, between the iterations, the key takeaway there would be to also consult with and take on board the feedback from the learners as well. That's very, very important, and that's something that we've done with each of the iterations. So feedback that is favourable and feedback that is not favourable as well, and look at ways of implementing some of their suggestions. So I would say that they're the two key takeaways. And also we worked hand in hand with a vendor that we still have a relationship after 7 years. So having I guess a working relationship with the vendor really works well, because what we're able to do is if it all goes well, that's terrific. If not, we're able to then, because of the working relationship that we have, we're able to, solve any issues and meet the project timelines, and work together to overcome any issues and any challenges that we may have. So I would say that they're the three takeaways in terms of working on a program like this. So listening to your clients, listening to your learners, and also having a good working relationship if you are using an external vendor to assist you in designing a program like this.
Great. Yeah, no questions have come in through chat or anything. Any closing comments you wanted to make, or?
So, well, thank you for your questions, and thanks everybody for your attendance. If you did want to talk about this further, feel free to reach out to me if there's any further questions after the presentation. It's one of our leading programs, and it's as you can see there, we have quite a number of learners that have completed it, and we're very proud of the way that it's been received, and it keeps, and the way that we're able to, I guess, engage our learners, as well as them, being ready for their roles in terms of the accreditation piece. So I think that we've combined both the engagement and the accreditation quite well in this program, and it continues to be very well received. So thanks everybody for your time, and if there's any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thanks very much.
Sounds great. Thank you very much for presenting.
Thank you.
And thanks for the people who are still attending, and look forward to meeting in the rest of the conference sessions today. I think just the closing, and then also for tomorrow's sessions.